a week ago, we made quite a big announcement about some changes we're making at 6 by Nico. And we think these are quite big changes, but they're changes that we really believe in, that is the future for the company, to evolve and enhance and immersify the customer experience, but also to really kind of pivot our culture and look after our team. But with doing that, we've had to majorly kind of tweak the business model. And I wanted to take a few minutes to try and basically explain why we're making these changes and why we believe this is the right decision to go down. So to do that, I kind of want to take you back into almost how the company started, where we are just now, and then why these changes are getting made. Long story short, I'm a chef to trade. When I was far too young, I was able to convince my parents, 21 years old actually, to convince my parents to lend me £33,000 to open up my first restaurant in Clevedon Road. And long story short, I kind of spent the first 5 years of that failing. I used to close one day, work 6 days, morning to night. I used to turn over £3,500 a week. And if I didn't have my parents there to really help me, or I could borrow money for a VAT bill and then pay them back, almost use them as an overdraft, I wouldn't have survived. And to be honest, if it wasn't my parents that lent me the money, I might have possibly thrown in the towel, because it was a really, really hard time, and I was getting nowhere. And something happened in my personal life that really kind of changed my thought process of business, and it kind of inspired me that moment. And also I met Modu, and Modu was the young boy that was on the streets. I kind of took him out of shelter, put him into flat, started teaching him how to cook, and then he really helped me, like never let me down. And he kind of gave me an idea that I wanted to open a restaurant that was basically there to help and teach people in a kitchen from like disadvantaged backgrounds. So I created a restaurant concept called 11 by Nico, and all I genuinely wanted to do was two things. I wanted to help and teach people, as I said, from disadvantaged backgrounds, and I wanted to cook the food that finally I really enjoyed cooking, which I didn't think I'd done before. So I went in, I created a kind of a la carte menu and a tasting menu, and I went in super accessible, like £20 for 3 courses, £25 for tasting menu. And I remember the accountant saying, "How are you going to make money?" And I was like, well, I don't know, I'm not really bothered. I just need it to be busy, or I can't teach people. And then we kind of opened the restaurant, and it kind of just blew up. Like within 10 weeks, we kind of got 4 food critics in, it got good reviews, and the restaurant went from genuinely, I used to turn over like £3,500 to turning over like 16, 17, £18,000. I was employing like 19 people. And it was just kind of mind blowing when you seen that venue going from where it had and those struggles and that kind of pain in all those years to kind of almost transforming overnight. And then a year later, I was in the fortunate position, for the first time ever, my bank account was growing, and I got offered a site in Finnieston in Glasgow, which was the kind of that time the real hip trendy area of Glasgow. And I got offered a site there. It was a small 36 cover restaurant for £200,000 for the leasehold. I was able to kind of negotiate a deal where I was able to pay 100 grand, write a cheque for 100 grand up front, and I agreed to pay the other 100 grand over a year. And at that time, I remember sitting there with Michael, who's our CMO, one of my best friends, and we were kind of saying, well, what can we do here? And at that time, we knew that we really wanted to explore this tasting menu, and we were having real success and kind of really seen a market for video marketing. So we kind of pieced that together, and 6 by Nico was born. It was really an evolution, and we just kind of wanted to make that challenge where we wanted to reinvent every 6 weeks, constantly create, constantly evolve, and take that creativity from different inspirations. Could be traveling, memories, ideas. Yeah, and we just really wanted to change the perception of tasting menus, try and bring it into an accessible price point and a more relaxed and kind of lively environment. And that's what we done. And we ended up going on this amazing journey where, the profits from that venue opened up Edinburgh, then opened up Belfast, Manchester, Liverpool, and it was all self-funded. And when you actually see the sites now, you can see when we were fortunate enough that we were able to invest 230 grand in Edinburgh, then 350 in Belfast, and we were able to invest, 600 in Manchester and then 900 in Liverpool. You can see that evolution, that with our success, we were able to invest more in our business for basically the shop fit for our customers and also the back of house for our staff. And at that time, it was all about this journey to London. We had a super young team. Our culture was strong. Everyone was like really invested in this journey of like taking this wee 36 cover restaurant in Glasgow and this whole build up and journey into London. And yeah, that's what we done. And we got our first site in London, Fitzrovia. We just put out our kind of biggest chunk of capex, around about £1 million at the time. We were meant to open up on the Monday, and on the Friday, lockdown was announced. Obviously, that was a hard time for all businesses, but that really opened our eyes up at that time, because what I think we'd done really well and what we realised is just through our natural organic storytelling, we ended up building this really unique and amazing kind of online community, because it wasn't bought through adverts. It was just genuinely us telling our story online, constantly engaging, emailing our customers, communicating with them in socials, and we ended up building this really big community. And within 2 weeks, we almost pivoted onto doing home boxes, which kind of merged us opening up a kind of dark kitchen and opening up a brand called Home X, which is an e-commerce brand. And we were putting out kind of 6,000 boxes around the UK. We had a factory. It was kind of actually running 24 hours a day. It had 180 staff kind of producing these boxes. And what that allowed us to do was it allowed us to kind of keep everything going. Six Nico was at a kind of weird size where we were almost big enough where landlords didn't give us any kind of rent. It was rent free. It was like just pay your rent. We obviously had quite a lot of staff, so we had all these kind of massive costs to bear during that time. And HomeX really gave us that cash flow to kind of keep us above water, but also allow us to evolve and expand the brand. But at that time, that's where we had to take our first debt into the business, because we just put out that capex for Fitzrovia, and obviously it was self-funded. We kind of had no massive bank balance. So that's where we kind of really had to take out our first debt. And in hindsight, kind of looking back, I think that was a pivotal changing point for us, kind of post-COVID, because it almost changed the mentality. Once when we took debt on, the company really had to pivot into focusing on the more financial models and KPIs to ensure that that debt was obviously serviced. I believe that was a pivotal changing moment for us when we got the debt in the business, because we really had to evolve the business. Obviously, with that debt and the bank, you're basically saying you're going to grow the brand with it. So that's what we did. We started to grow it, but also you have that debt to service. So through that growth, you've really got to monitor your numbers and your financial metrics to make sure you can service that loan. And I just feel over the last kind of 2 years, and this is completely my fault and my responsibility, that I've been so focused on growth and so focused on those kind of KPIs, and then through that growth, I just feel that it's brought me further away from our teams and the site, like getting around and visiting the sites. And yeah, like the kind of size of the company now, like just shy of 800 employees, it's just kind of really grown. And I just feel like I'm very distant from my customers and also from my team. And in all honesty, if I have to be 100% honest with myself, I actually feel like I've let down my team and also let down my customers in some way. I've not focused the team, or I've focused the team too much on the wrong things. And I think just over time, the customer experience, just like there's been a wee bit of leakage, and we've just, and I've lost and not been able to retain some amazing talent. I've really wanted to try and rethink my strategy going forward, and my strategy going forward is almost like genuinely wanting to double down on that customer experience, and then doing that as well is like trying to create something in a company amazing to attract and retain the best talent and the best team possible, because to help achieve what we want, because we have got big massive ambitions for this company, obviously international expansions, also like evolving it outside of restaurants. We kind of know we can really play the e-com game as well, so we have got really massive kind of ambitions for this company. But to do that, I genuinely think like I want to kind of slow down the growth this year to maybe, like last year was 8 units. I'm thinking this year more kind of 3 to 4, so kind of less than 50% worth of growth. And then using this time to really kind of get back to basics and really just, like, as I say, double down on that customer experience. And with everything that's going on just now in the economy, I genuinely think that that is right, but it is quite a big gamble, because to do this in this strategy that I kind of have, we are tweaking the Six Nico business model, which is obviously very, very successful. And the biggest change is that basically we are reducing our capacity. And what I mean by reducing our capacity is we always believed Six by Nico was part of the evening. So, you know, we always wanted to be around kind of amazing businesses we feed off, like amazing local boutique bars or like Alchemists and flight clubs, where people would go for pre-drinks, come to us for a meal, go back there for post-drinks. And that's what we really wanted to do. And it was always a kind of 2 hour sitting window, which is quite ordinary in the industry. But for us to maintain that, for example, on a Saturday, Birmingham does over, 330 covers on a Saturday. Every table gets turned round kind of 5 times on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That is like 300, 300 times 6 is like 1,800 plates of food plus snacks. So it works out at like kind of over 2,000 plates of food leave our kitchen. And then if you break that down into like 11 hours, it almost works out at something like 3.4 plates of food every minute that leaves our kitchen for 11 hours. So it's a very kind of, we've got to put in a lot of procedure to execute that, but also it's very labour intensive on our team. So what the biggest change what we want to do is we want to bring that down to 4 sittings. We want to increase that dining experience to 2.5 hours, which makes it more relaxed and enjoyable for our customers, but also for our team to deliver it. Ensures our team, get that break and staff meal midpoint of the day. Ensures it's just a lot less stressful on the team. But also it creates that better atmosphere and customer experience by giving that extended time. Then we had the decision, what do we do with that extended time? We don't want to just give, we know we can produce that experience in 2 hours, so what do we do with that half hour? And that led us to the idea on basically immersifying and gamifying Six by Nico. And that is what is happening with the launch of Murder Mystery. We have genuinely, we've already tested this model, but this is a story, a game that's been really curated from us, from the characters, play tested. Genuinely, we have a super talented person called Magda in our company. She's genuinely invested over a month, just solely focused on bringing this project together, from the design detail to everything. And it is an amazing product. And that's what we're just super excited to share with the Six by Nico community. It's this kind of how we gamify the Six by Nico, where the dishes tell the story along with the props, along with evidence packs. There's clues and that built into the dishes. So it's taking that kind of storytelling and evolution really to a new level. I hope to a new level. And that's it. And this is kind of just the first steps of this. I'm not saying this is going to make us a finished article and just this wee change makes us better. Sorry, that's my kids running. I'm not going to say this wee change makes us a finished article. I know myself, we still have a lot of work to do to really consistently evolve and refine. And again, one of our ethos is always staying humble, listening to feedback and how to get that, and just constantly challenge yourself to refine and create every 6 weeks. And also how our people as well, I'm not saying that's the final answer. I've got plans for the future that I'm working on just now, which I'll share in a future video. But I really want to create a people blueprint that almost career maps 6 by Nico and makes it one of the most unique companies to work for. I genuinely want to evolve the team into like the next layer of entrepreneurs in the industry. Yeah, I've got some, we're working on it just now as a team. I'm quite excited, but we're obviously building that out. But I want to basically make like some serious promises on how to career map and evolve our people strategy, because I feel that I have let them down in the last while. Yeah, and that is where we're at. I hope that wasn't too long. Thank you for listening. These will be weekly videos every Sunday where I'll be showing you the good, the bad, the ugly, all behind the scenes of 6 by Nico, kind of documenting the journey. And the kind of journey starts with this change in murder mystery, guys. I hope you enjoyed, hope you found the content insightful, and see you next week.